Welcome to the Empowered Podcast with Deanna Merlino, an all-encompassing personal development show where I will be sharing with you just how to transform yourself into the best version of you, both inside and out. From wellness, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and manifestation, I'll be showing you exactly how to live your best life. I will be keeping it as real and raw as it gets. So get ready to peel back the layers and really transform yourself under the surface. Because nothing is better than finding your purpose and living this life as your true, authentic self. You've been hearing me talk about my new spiritual life coaching program. So by now, you know if you are ready to jump into something like this, but now it's time to make it happen. I'm running a special deal, and if you want to hear more, then it's time for you to reach out to me. You can check me out on my page, The Empowered Coach 333, and DM me for more information to get you ready to step into your higher self and your next level today. Welcome back, my empowered fam. So I am going to just start today's episode by calling a solid trigger warning. I am very called to sharing my trauma story as deep as I have yet to publicly. My inner circle obviously knows it, but bear with me because I am nervous. I'll get to, it'll make a little more sense by the end. But I just got the message that I need to share it, and it's part of my healing. So I really, truly hope that this sits with somebody. And in the show notes, I'll kind of put a broad trigger warning because I obviously, if you don't feel called to listen to it yet, that is okay, because we all heal at our own pace and we're all capable of handling things at our own pace. So I'm here to help, not hurt. But on that note, I'm just going to jump in. And so I've talked about Roseanne before. She is one of my healers, and she is specifically an ascension practitioner. And for people who don't know what an ascension practitioner is, to wrap it up as quickly and easily as I can, is essentially she works with you, and she's connected straight to God. She works with you to rid any karma that you have in this life as well as past life so that you can return to the light and essentially stop reincarnating over and over and over again. I know that is going to go over some of your heads. That's okay. It resonates with me, and I'm at a place in my journey where working with her is for my best interest. So she posted, and it said something along the lines of how she received a message. She says source. She received a message from God that people no longer have to suffer if they choose that they no longer want to suffer. Like, that's where we're at as a collective. That is where we are societally. Like, we're ready to not suffer anymore. And so I felt really called to this message. It felt really right. And I verbally out loud said, I choose to no longer suffer. And that was that. I, went on about my day. I released it, as you're supposed to do when you claim anything. You don't hold on to it, right? You let it go and you just give it to God. You give it to the universe. It's no longer yours to worry about. So that night I go to lay down for bed, and I'm trying to fall asleep and I can't. And all of a sudden I get this, and I just knew. I had a feeling. I just knew. I started thinking about someone from high school. And I'm like, that's weird, because I have healed my traumas with this, my trauma responses, all my things with this situation. And as soon as I thought that, I immediately started getting like severe pain in my legs. So no, and if you guys listen to my episode about the last retreat, I believe I mentioned how during one of the healing sessions, I was physically taking on people's pain. And that's kind of been my new thing, is I am feeling everything super intensely. So I'm like, okay, clearly I have not fully healed through this. So as I told you guys in a past episode, I said, when you're being triggered by something, to ask what it is. What is the lesson? And so that's what I did. I said, what is my lesson here? What is it that I am supposed to know, to learn? And the message that I received is that I had only ever known how to play the victim in relationships. And in that moment, that
thought when that download, when it popped into my head, it just brought all of these things rushing to me, like literally, essentially from now back to as far as I remember. It just started bringing all these things up. And I have mentioned in a past episode as well that I've kind of been in a state of healing my inner teenager. So this all tracks, this all makes sense. And I'm at the point in my healing journey where it doesn't make it less uncomfortable. It doesn't make it less painful to deal with certain things as I heal them. But I fully understand and comprehend, and I surrender to it because I know it's for my greatest and highest good. And so as I leaned into this, so I'm going to get very vulnerable with you guys and share some of my stories and some of my traumas that I experienced. And I got all the way down to the root of it. And so back in high school, one of my very first sexual encounters was not one by choice of mine. It was in a situation where I was literally like unconscious from drinking too much and I was taken advantage of. And anyone who knows me knows that I don't drink beer. This is actually why, because of this exact situation. And something really messed up happened out of that. I ended up dating that same guy later. And I never understood this. I also suppressed it. But as I started unpacking things as I got older, I always was trying to figure out, like, how the hell could you possibly date someone who physically took advantage of you? And I've gone to therapy before. And Kaylee, who has been on the podcast, she was a psychologist. She was in this field. And through conversations, what she has mentioned to me, as well as when I went to professional counseling, is that it's actually a trauma response. Especially when you're younger, your brain can't comprehend sometimes certain things that happen to you, certain traumas. So to deal with it, they do it in a way that doesn't seem logical. And so because my brain didn't want to comprehend that I was physically taken advantage of in a sexual relationship or sexual situation, that I was going to tell myself somewhere deep inside that I was okay with it, even though I wasn't conscious, and I certainly wasn't okay with it. And somewhere in that, I trauma bonded to this individual. And so this ties back even further to other things as well. There was another time in high school after this where I was sexually assaulted. And in that experience, so there's certain ways that you respond to trauma. You can there's the flight or fight response, right? Or there's also where you disassociate from it. And so I disassociated. And this was the actual reason why I went to therapy the very first time. Because if anybody knows me, I am a fighter, like in all ways, shapes, or forms. I've always stood up for the little guy. I've always stood up for myself. I've been in several physical altercations because I don't like when people are taken advantage of or when power is taken away from them, which makes sense, right? From these situations that I'm explaining in itself. So I always was super bothered, like literally devastated. I couldn't comprehend why I didn't fight, why I didn't run, why I did nothing. I just kind of disassociated. I don't have full recollection of what happened. That was my body's way of dealing with it, as my brain, my spirit, my soul kind of disassociated from the scenario so that I didn't have to actually be so present when something so terrible was happening. And I didn't understand. And again, what I've learned through both Kaylee and through therapy is that there are those responses, and most times it stems from something else. So now we go even further. And what I've realized is that there were things that happened in my childhood that I couldn't comprehend or process. And so here's the thing, especially as a child, and I've said it before, until you're around 7 or 8, you're kind of just taking on everything else from the world. You're not your own beliefs, they're not your own thoughts, that kind of thing. Well, as a child as well, because your brain is like a friggin' mashed potato, like it's just not fully formed. It's not meant to handle trauma. When things happen to you, the only way a child knows how to survive and how a child's brain knows how to process trauma is to disassociate. And what I didn't realize is that when you get in traumatic situations, your brain, as a survival response, will go back to what you know best. And because I had things happen as a child that I disassociated from, I then, at a later age, even though I was a young adult, disassociated as well. Because at the end of the day, your brain and your body are ridiculously smart and they know how to survive. I wanted to share some of these things. And again, I'll get to why I'm sharing all of this, extremely vulnerable information with you guys. I then was kind of taken back to my childhood and what I remember in my childhood, which is so crazy, guys, how our brains work when we're children. Because since then, I'm like kind of questioning my entire existence and my entire relationship with my father. But as a child, I've shared before that my dad worked so hard. My dad was always gone working because he was trying to create a comfortable life for us. He was trying to create a legacy to leave behind, which kudos to you, Dad, because you friggin' did it. So he did what he knew how to do, which was to take care of us. But as a child, because he was gone before I woke up for the day and still working before I went to bed, he wasn't really around. I just wanted my dad around, right? I didn't understand as a child why my dad wasn't around. And in my little peanut child brain, I took that as I am not worthy for my dad to be around. My dad must not be around because I'm doing something wrong. I'm not worthy of his time. I'm not worthy of his love. Of course, that's not what was happening. I get that now as an adult. But that is how I process things. And I say it's strange that I'm questioning my reality because now that my dad's passed and I have access to so much of our stuff, like we're finding boxes and boxes and boxes of pictures that he had and things in storage, all of our and I do remember some of it, but all of our childhood is pictures of me with my dad, pictures of my dad taking us on, traveling the country. We would go every year to North Carolina and it was amazing. And we'd go camping. And I have so many memories that I somehow like put down deep and I don't really know why per se. Because I spent a lot more time with my dad than I grew up thinking, which is pretty crazy. But anyhow, my point of sharing that is because I was then ingrained with this core innate belief that I am unworthy. And this is not something that I'm thinking about consciously, right? I don't go around going through my day thinking I'm unworthy because I do not think that. But here's the thing, because I believed that as a core belief as a child, I went through my life with this subconscious belief and programming that I am not worthy. And that in turn decided how I went through relationships. So I'm here going through these relationships, feeling like I'm not getting attention, feeling unloved in my child brain, feeling unworthy of love. So I'm looking for the wrong type of attention from the wrong type of people and the wrong type of relationships. And that literally changed the entire course of my life, because now as an adult, I had two long-term relationships, both of which were abusive. I allowed myself to was I openly, awareingly, I don't know if that's a word, but like consciously deciding I'm going to be in an abusive relationship? No, absolutely not. Again, I'm a fighter. I stand up for myself. I stand up for the little guy. I want to have a voice. I fight for people to have a voice. But subconsciously, which rules our entire existence, I was allowing myself to be abused because, again, what was that original message that I had was that I only knew how to be the victim in relationships. I knew nothing else. And it wasn't until I healed these beliefs and started healing these traumas that changed. Thank God, because I met my husband, who I'm no longer in a relationship like this. But I'm telling you guys all of this because I want you to know how important it is to heal. Go to counseling. Get a coach who you feel aligned to. I've been talking so much about working on the subconscious and reprogramming, and here's why. These are why. And so fast forward, because I feel like I have healed through these things and worked through these things, especially now that I brought this last crap up to the surface, I asked to no longer suffer, right? Well, that meant I had to address some painful things that were still buried way down deep. Here's the really cool thing about healing is you don't have to process things until you're ready. Your body and your brain, again, are so smart. They won't give you things that you cannot handle because, again, we are programmed for survival. And so here's the thing. This is what I now realize, though, because I am currently working on becoming very, very, very financially successful. And because money is energy, and because energy is everything, and money is associated with our core needs, our core requirements, our core necessity, because money does what? Money gives you a place to live, a roof over your head. Money buys you food. Money buys you water. Money buys you a vehicle to get to work to make the money that you need. Money is so much a necessity that you need to heal your relationship with money, just like any other relationship, or you will not attain it or keep it or be able to grow it. And so here's the thing. I needed to realize that these beliefs were there for me to know I am worthy of not only love, I am worthy of safety, I am worthy of money. I had to heal my I am worthy beliefs, because even though I didn't know that I had those lack of beliefs, they were in the very core essence of who I am. So here's the thing. I shared my trauma story with you guys more deeply than I probably ever planned on doing. And I'm sharing them because I have gotten to a place where, as I heal all aspects of myself, one of the things that I need to heal is my voice. I don't want anything to happen to any of these people that cause trauma in my life. I have let that go. I am to a point where I know, again, here's the thing, you don't get to choose what happens to you in this life. Terrible freaking things can happen to you. They've happened to me too. What you do get to choose is how you respond to them. And I choose to love unconditionally in my life. Believe me, guys, it's taken a long time to get here. So if you're not there, give yourself grace and don't judge yourself. But I choose to exude love because that love will always come back to me. I have gotten to a point where, because of Roseanne, I fully understand when I see bad things happening or people doing bad things, I'm not dismissing their actions. There are unacceptable actions. What I do choose to see is that I know something terrible must have happened to them for them to treat another human being or living creature in the way that they treat them. And what I personally choose to do is to love them, send them, I don't love them, but I'm sending them love to hopefully work through their stuff too, because love is the only way that we're going to heal ourselves, each other, and the world, to be honest. I know that terrible things have happened to some of you guys, to all of us. Some worse things have happened to others, but they're all terrible. Choose to heal because you deserve it. The only person who's being hurt by not healing is you, yourself, and your loved ones that you are processing your stuff through to them and at them. So choose to heal. So I'm going to take a quick moment. I made some affirmations that came to me. Again, all of this came to me, guys, in one swift swoop, because that's how it works for me now. I'm very attached to my intuition and my higher self and God, and these things come to me rather easily now. And so these affirmations came to me as well. So I want to share them with you as well. So I want you to take a moment. I will leave space in between each one that I say. And if you feel called to and you're in a place that you can do this, I highly recommend you follow through with me. If you can't, come back to it. But I'm just going to go ahead and do these quick affirmations with you. And they fully correlate to what I experienced today, and maybe they'll resonate with you as well. I am safe. I am worthy. I am deserving of my desires. It is safe to be loved. I deserve to be loved. I am worthy of love. It is safe for me to experience pleasure. I deserve pleasure. I am worthy of pleasure. It is safe to have and keep money. I deserve to have and keep money. I am worthy of having and keeping money. I have been repeating those every day because those are the core beliefs that I'm healing. Guys, this life coaching program that I have been doing is invaluable in helping you to heal yourself and being able to be in tune with your intuition, your higher self, God, to balance even the chakras in your body, to heal what anytime traumas happen, we store them as energy in our body. And that negative, heavy, dense, dark energy is trapped in our body. It's making us sick. It's holding us back from our highest potential. When I do Reiki, I'm helping to heal and balance your chakras and push out that old stagnant energy and bring in that high, pure life force energy. All of these things that I offer, I'm doing it to help you guys thrive as well as myself, because remember, we're in this together. I don't know what it is that this episode triggers for you. I pray that it brings you peace. I pray that it gives you back your power. I pray that it shows you that you are loved and you are worthy and capable of healing, because that is what I want for you. And if there's any way that I can assist you, please do not hesitate to let me know. I know that I have been talking about how I'm ready to step into large financial success, and I am, but I want you guys to know at the end of the day, I'm here for you, each of you, at a soul level as human beings, because what happens to us affects each other. So we all need to heal. I just wanted to share that when all of this came in, when I looked at my phone to write these notes down, because I didn't want to forget them, because I have a terrible time of things coming in and then I forget it. There was 1 minute and 11 seconds left on my background noise that I play to go to sleep. And it was 4:44 a.m. when I had started writing this. So I know that is my sign that this message was divinely guided, and I kept getting the message that I needed to share this with others, that it was key and instrumental in my healing and stepping into my next step, and also for using my voice and being able to remind you guys that you have a voice as well and hopefully help others heal. So thank you for letting me share my story and being a part of this healing with you all. And thank you for the courage to listen and address your own traumas and pains and hurts in order to heal, because that's what we're here in this lifetime to do. And just know that I love you all so much. And remember, no matter what has happened to you, you are loved, you are safe, you are worthy, and it's time to use your pain as your power. I hope you all have an amazing day and an incredible week. And I will see you guys next week with some quick success tips that you can use to help get you to where you want to be. Love you all. Take care.
Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. If you want to find out more, you can follow me on Instagram at Empowered with Deanna and my personal page, Fit Deanna Lolita. You can also visit me on my website, which is deannamerlinofit.com. Make sure that whatever platform you guys are listening on, please rate and subscribe. And this means so much to me. It's going to help get me out there to help so many other people. I'm so grateful that you're here with me on this journey of wellness and self-empowerment. I cannot promise that it will always be easy, but I do know that it will always be worth it. Stick with me, and together, let's start living as the version of us that we were meant to be. Because the world is waiting for your gifts, and you deserve to live the life of your wildest dreams and beyond. So friends, let's get empowered.